You've got $40,000 in the bank, and the auto industry is hoping you never notice the hidden math. That smart cash purchase quietly becomes roughly $180,000 of missing retirement money. Here's what most people miss. That stack of cash you're handing over at the dealership isn't just paying for a car, it's paying more. It's paying a silent tax on your future self, plus a psychological trap cash buyers walk into smiling. The wildest part, the debt-free crusaders, cash-only gurus, your uncle at Thanksgiving, they all preach it loudest. But they did the exact opposite of what actually wealthy people quietly do with their money. Uncomfortable truth. Let's back up for a second. For about 40 years, one financial commandment has been drilled into Americans. Never finance a car. Always pay cash. Debt is the enemy. Can't afford cash? Then you can't afford it. On the surface, that sounds like the most adult, responsible thing any person could ever say out loud. It sounds like wisdom.
It sounds like your grandfather's voice, steady and certain across the kitchen table. The Dave Ramsey crowd built entire empires on this idea. And honestly, I get it. The appeal is real. Walking into a dealership, sliding a cashier's check across the desk, walking out with keys and zero payments. No interest, no monthly bill, no bank breathing down your neck. It feels like freedom, like beating the system. Most people never question it. They hear no debt and their brain shuts off. No further thought needed. Cash equals safe. Cash equals disciplined. Cash equals winning. This mantra has become financial gospel across America. Push back on this in conversation, and suddenly you look like the reckless one who just doesn't get it. But one single number quietly breaks this whole rule apart. Subscribe for smarter money moves next time. Here's the number nobody talks about. 40,000 cash isn't the same as 40,000 parked in your driveway. Not even close. Drive off the lot and that car does what cash never does. It bleeds value, fast. A brand new $40,000 vehicle loses about 20% of its value in the first 12 months alone. By year 3, you're looking at closer to 40% gone. That car is now worth roughly $24,000. You didn't spend 40 grand. You lit 16,000 on fire in 3 years, and no bill warned you. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. That same 40,000, left alone in a boring index fund, does the opposite. Earning the historical market average of 8 to 10% a year, it grows quietly in the background. So the real price tag on that car was never 40,000. There's an invisible second sticker attached. It's the price of what that money could have become. Economists call this opportunity cost, finance's most ignored number. Wait until you see what compounding does here. Let's break down the mechanics of a $40,000 car's depreciation curve. It looks like a ski slope. A steep drop right at the beginning, then a gradual slide after. By year 5, most vehicles hit half of what you paid. By year 8, you're down to a third. That's guaranteed. That's not a maybe. That is math baked directly into the metal of every car sold today. Compare that to what money does in markets. The S&P 500 averages 8 to 10% annually. Over any 20-year stretch in modern history, some years down, some years up, but the long arc goes up. So imagine you finance the car instead. You get a loan at 6%, a real rate today.
You put a little down, pay a monthly note, and keep the bulk of your $40,000 invested. Your money earns 8 to 10%. Your loan costs 6. That gap between numbers is called arbitrage. That is exactly how genuinely wealthy people think about every single large purchase they ever choose to make. But wait, there's more true cost most people never add up. Insurance on a new $40,000 car is higher. Registration is higher. Maintenance eventually kicks in. Fuel, tires, all of it. Sticker price is just the entry ticket. Now here's the psychological trap that hits cash buyers hardest. When you pay cash, the car feels free. No monthly reminder, no pain. so you drive more. You upgrade sooner. You stop tracking the real cost. Studies actually show cash buyers consistently overspend on the vehicle itself because sliding one check hurts only once. A monthly payment hurts every single month and keeps you honest about what the car is truly costing.
Most people don't realize paying cash often makes you buy a more expensive car than you would have financed. The dealer knows this. The salesperson knows this. That's why they smile when you casually say the word cash. Now comes the twist that flips this entire video on its head, so stay right with me one moment. Here's the truth. The real problem isn't cash versus loan. It's the $40,000 car itself eating your future. Either way you slice it, cash makes it worse in one direction. A big loan makes it worse another way. The underlying decision, a $40,000 depreciating asset, that's the wound. The financing method is just the bandage. Here's where actual wealthy people get interesting. Researchers study real millionaires, not Instagram ones, the boring 8-figure kind. The average American millionaire drives a car about 8 years old. Toyota, Honda, Ford. Used, paid off, unremarkable. They don't roll up in brand new luxury SUVs. They drive something you'd scroll past in a parking lot. Because they understand a phrase that changes everything. Looking wealthy and being wealthy are two completely different things. Looking wealthy costs money every single month. Being wealthy makes money every single month. They are often opposites. The person financing an $80,000 truck to impress neighbors is often one single job loss away from disaster. The person driving a 10-year-old Camry with $300,000 in index funds is quietly, completely free. Project this 20 years forward, and it gets brutal. Let me show you what 20 years actually does. Take that same $40,000. Instead of the shiny new car, invest it in a broad market index fund. Historical average return, 8% per year. You don't touch it, don't panic sell. Just let it sit. After 20 years, that $40,000 becomes roughly $186,000, almost $200,000, from one decision, from one Tuesday afternoon where you simply chose not to walk into the dealership. Wild. Now, let's build the realistic version. You still need a car, so buy a reliable used one for $15,000. Reliable brand, low miles, boring color. You invest the remaining $25,000 at 8% for 20 years. That $25,000 becomes about $116,000. And you still drove for 2 decades. You still got to work. You still took the kids to soccer. You still had your entire normal life. You just didn't set fire to your future while doing it. Meanwhile, what about the cash buyer's car? By year 20, it's worth almost nothing, scrap value. Maybe a few thousand if they somehow kept it running. They spent $40,000 and ended up with basically zero, a driveway ornament and 20 years of nothing. Investor buyer spent $15,000 and ended up with $116,000 plus a functional vehicle for years. At age 55, the gap in net worth from this single decision is over $100,000 from one car. And most people make this same choice 5, 6, 7 times across a lifetime. That's not a rounding error. That's a retirement. That's a paid-off house. That's a decade of freedom.
And the final number is even worse, because we've only counted one single car in this whole example. Stack this decision every 7 or 8 years across a working life, and the compounding gap balloons enormously. Past $500,000, some models put it near $1,000,000 by retirement, from one behavior, from how you buy the thing sitting in your driveway. Most people don't realize that is the decision, so let's reframe. That $40,000 cash purchase didn't cost $40,000. It cost closer to $186,000 in lost wealth. In real economic terms, the car you thought cost 40,000 actually cost you 4 times the sticker when you count opportunity. The average investor completely misses this. They see the price tag, they see the loan interest, they don't see the invisible money evaporating. $146,000 quietly gone because they never gave that money a chance to grow. Here's the counterthesis cleanly.
The smart move isn't paying cash. It isn't maxing a loan. It's buying less car and putting the gap to work. Real wealth is built in the gap between what you could spend and what you actually spend. That's the entire game. So, what do you actually do? Let's build a real framework for this weekend. Planners talk about the 24-10 rule. 20% down, loan no longer than 4 years, total transportation costs under 10% of your take-home pay. Solid start, but let's push further. Cap the total price of the car at 10% of your current net worth, not income. Net worth of 100 grand, your car costs 10 grand or less. Net worth of $1 million, stretch to 100,000 car, but not before. This one rule alone will save the average person hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Next rule: buy 2 to 4 years old with low miles. That's the genuine sweet spot for smart buyers. The original owner already ate the worst chunk of depreciation.
You inherit most of the useful life remaining. You pay roughly 60% of the cost. And modern cars easily run 200,000 miles today. Rule 3. Only finance if the loan interest rate is meaningfully lower than your expected investment return. 3% loan while you invest at 8? That's arbitrage in your favor. Numbers, not feelings, decide this. If your only loan option is 9 or 10%, that math flips and cash suddenly wins again. Rule 4. This is the secret weapon. The gap between the fancier car and the one you bought. Whatever that monthly payment difference is, auto-invest it. Same day every month, straight into a broad index fund. You will not miss the money. In 20 years, that habit alone builds a second retirement account quietly. Before you sign anything, run this checklist. Is the car under 10% of my total net worth? Is it 2 to 4 years old? Is my loan rate below my expected investment return? Check carefully. Am I auto-investing the difference every month? Yes to all 4? You're playing the game correctly here. If no to any of them, walk away and think again. One more thing most people get wrong. Here's the loop back. This exact same logic applies to something much bigger than cars. It's houses. The cash versus mortgage debate is the same trap wearing a different suit. Most people never even see it. People sprint to pay off a 3% mortgage while their money could earn 8 in the market. They feel responsible. They feel debt-free.
And they quietly leave hundreds of thousands on the table forever. The truth is this: real wealth is not about zero debt. Real wealth is about optionality, plain and simple. It's about capital that works for you, cash flow covering your life, and choices about how you spend time. Zero debt with zero assets is not freedom. It's honestly just a slower, quieter version of being broke. The truly wealthy people, the ones never stressed about money, don't obsess over eliminating every low-interest debt at all. They obsess over deploying capital where it grows fastest. Cars, houses, businesses, index funds, every dollar has a job. And the dollar sitting in a depreciating vehicle, that's a dollar that just got fired from your team. Next video, we break down the mortgage version of this exact trap. If this stung, that one rewires everything. Same math, bigger numbers.
It'll rewire what paying off your house early actually costs you. Quick thing first. If this helped you see money the way it truly works, hit subscribe. Real math, no hype here. Next up, we're tearing apart the mortgage payoff myth. See it before your next extra principal payment lands. Thanks for hanging out with me today. See you in the very next video.